In retrospect, do you think it was good for the family dynamic? All your relationships with parents, brothers, everything.
Yes, I do. You dream about, I don't know anything else.
Robin Gibb was celebrated as one of music's most iconic voices, part of the legendary Bee Gees who shaped a generation. But behind the spotlight, he lived a secret life that few ever suspected. What if the man you thought you knew had layers of family tragedy, personal conflict, and hidden relationships that challenged everything you believed about him? For 3 decades, Robin carefully guarded private parts of his story, from devastating losses to secret affairs that only now have come to light. His journey reveals how fame and family can collide in unexpected ways, leaving scars beneath the glamour. Hidden family tragedies. Robin Gibb's life was marked by a series of profound personal losses that left lasting scars beneath his public success. Despite the global fame he achieved as a member of the Bee Gees, the pain of losing his brothers haunted him deeply. In private moments, he admitted that his greatest regret was that every brother he lost had been during a time when they were not on good terms. This lingering remorse added a complicated emotional layer to his story, one that few outside his family truly understood. The tragedies began early and struck hard. On November 5, 1967, Robin and his first wife, Molly Hullis, survived the Hither Green Rail disaster, one of Britain's most severe train accidents. The catastrophe took the lives of 49 people, and the horror of the scene left a profound impact on Robin's psyche. Though he escaped physically unscathed, the memories of that terrifying event stayed with him, shaping his view of life and mortality with a sense of urgency and fragility. As the Bee Gees rose to fame, the family suffered another cruel blow with the death of younger brother Andy Gibb in 1988. Andy's early passing at just 30 years old shocked the entire family and devastated Robin in particular. Andy had been a rising star in his own right, and his death brought an unexpected, wrenching loss that challenged Robin's ability to cope with grief amid public attention and ongoing career demands. Loss came again in 2003 when Robin's twin brother, Maurice Gibb, passed away due to complications from a bowel condition. Losing Maurice was especially painful, as the two had been inseparable since birth and shared a bond stronger than most siblings. Maurice's death underscored a cruel pattern of tragedy striking the Gibb family, further deepening the shadow over Robin's personal life. These successive hardships led Robin to reflect on the idea of karmic debt, a belief that the immense success the family enjoyed came with its own heavy price. It was his way of explaining the string of misfortunes that seemed to circle the family relentlessly. This perspective revealed how Robin wrestled not only with grief, but with a broader sense of fate and balance that few ever heard discussed openly. The emotional weight of these losses was often masked by Robin's public persona as a talented and charismatic artist. Yet, those closest to him recognized the toll that constant tragedy exacted. His statements about being the last man standing carried the heaviness of survival, loss, and unresolved conflict. Behind the scenes, the family's history was quiet, but filled with tension and sorrow. Despite the private pain, Robin continued forging ahead in his career, carrying the memories of those he lost like invisible burdens. His music often channeled the emotional complexity born from these experiences, adding depth to his distinctive voice. However, the real cost was measured in moments of solitude and reflection, far from the applause and fame. The story of Robin's hidden family tragedies serves as the critical backdrop to understanding the man behind the music. It hints at the complexity of his character and the private battles that shaped his life. This foundation prepares us to see the more public aspects of his career and personality in a new, more nuanced light. Still, the impact of his early years and rise to fame cannot be separated from these personal shadows, as they intertwined to create the unique path Robin Gibb walked throughout his life. Early life and rise to fame. Robin Gibb grew up in an environment where music became a sanctuary amid hardship, bonding him closely with his brothers from a young age. Hailing from Manchester, the Gibb brothers shared a fearless ambition. They wanted to be stars more than anything else. Small local performances helped cultivate their stage presence and build the foundation for what would become an extraordinary career. The dynamic among the brothers was rooted in shared dreams and mutual determination. Robin, alongside Barry and Maurice, experimented with songwriting and vocal harmonies that were distinctive and deeply emotional. His voice quickly stood out for its unique tone and emotive quality, becoming an unmistakable part of the Bee Gees' signature sound. Their rise was steady but intense, propelled by hits like Massachusetts and To Love Somebody. These songs not only gained international acclaim, but also showcased Robin's ability to connect with listeners through heartfelt delivery. His lead vocals on many tracks helped define the band's early identity and set them apart in a crowded music scene. The Bee Gees' success was not just about talent, but about timing and chemistry. The brothers' intricate harmonies captured a new wave of pop music fans worldwide, turning them into one of the era's most beloved groups. Yet beneath the surface, balancing personal relationships and creative differences was an ongoing challenge they had to navigate carefully. Robin's distinct voice got him a lot of admiration, but also the spotlight made everything feel heavier between family members. That mix of sibling rivalry and artistic ambition sometimes caused tiny cracks in the group's unity, like it was all moving but not always together. Even so, their shared push kept them heading forward, with Robin playing a key part in how the band's path drifted towards superstardom. A lot of fans remember the Bee Gees mainly for what they did in the disco era, yet their earlier songs laid down real groundwork that made the shift possible. Robin's emotional singing and his songwriting, in particular, helped clear the way for their changing sound. And that sound would later take over charts across the world. That stretch of time made him more than just a performer. It also shaped him into a creative engine, if you will. Family support mattered a lot, and their roots in working-class Britain gave the Gibbs that stubborn resilience. They ran into rejection, plus all kinds of hardships, but they never really lost their direction. That kind of grit was necessary for Robin and his brothers to handle both the bright peaks and the rough dips that fame would eventually bring. If you look at the start of Robin's journey alongside his brothers, it becomes easier to see why both the victories and the stress showed up afterward. Their early years were a blend of sudden breakthroughs and quieter struggles that tend to come with rising fame, and somehow that combination set the stage for what followed. The complexities of their sibling relationship transformed as their fame grew, casting shadows that would later become impossible to ignore. Internal band conflicts. Despite their shared success, tensions within the Bee Gees increasingly tested the bonds between Robin and his brothers, especially Barry Gibb. Differences in musical vision and desire for prominence led to visible conflicts that affected both their professional work and personal relationships. These disagreements weren't just about artistic direction. They highlighted underlying struggles for recognition and control. One of the most notable flashpoints occurred over the choice of a single release. Robin advocated for Lamplight to take precedence, while Barry and their management opted for a different track. This dispute wasn't just a creative difference. It symbolized the growing divide in how the brothers viewed their roles and futures. The disagreement widened the emotional and professional rift among them. The escalating conflict eventually forced Robin to make the difficult decision to leave the group temporarily. This split marked a crucial moment, revealing how fame and family pressure could collide, fracturing even the closest of bonds. Robin's departure underscored the fragile balance they had been trying to maintain as siblings and collaborators. During his time away, Robin kinda pursued a solo career, releasing the album Robin's Reign. While it caught attention from fans who were itching to hear his individual say, it still didn't reach the commercial peaks that the Bee Gees had. That comparison, kind of stuck in the mind, reminded everyone of how hard it can be for musicians to step out from a successful group's shadow and not get swallowed by expectations. The separation was a turning point for everyone involved. But, over time, the brothers found a sort of mutual ground again, seeing how strong their combined talents were and how loyal their fan base remained. Their reunion kinda reignited the Bee Gees' career and basically set them up for some of their most celebrated, profitable years. Even with the reconnection, the earlier conflicts didn't just vanish. They pointed to the ongoing pressures the group had to deal with. The intense spotlight, plus differing ambitions, kept stirring tension under the surface. Family ties tried to win against the business realities, and it made what looked from the outside like seamless harmonies feel complicated inside. This chapter showed that the Bee Gees weren't just a band in some simple way, it was more like a family, navigating extraordinary challenges in plain view. The back and forth between togetherness and personal ambition shaped a lot of their story, and it echoed common themes in sibling relationships, except this time, those themes were amplified by fame. The lessons from those conflicts helped steer their later decisions, and honestly, helped them mature as artists and as brothers. It's a reminder that behind the success and the smiles, real struggles happened in private moments, with hard choices that no one could see. With the return to the group came renewed success, but also the complexities of Robin's secret personal life, which would only emerge years later and reshape how the world saw him. Secret relationships revealed. Robin Gibb's personal life was far more complex than the public ever imagined, shaped not only by his marriages, but also by long-hidden relationships that only surfaced years later. His first marriage to Molly Hullis began in the early years when Robin was still finding his footing, both as an artist and a husband.
At Caxton Hall, Robin Gibb of the Bee Gees marries the girl he saved from disaster. Molly Hullis of Rye in Sussex was trapped in the wreckage of the Hither Green rail crash until Robin pulled her out.
Together, they had 2 children, Spencer and Melissa. But the couple often lived apart due to Robin's demanding international music career and the strains that fame imposed on their relationship. Over time, the distance between them grew more pronounced, and their marriage eventually ended in divorce after many years. The challenges of maintaining family bonds while pursuing a global career were difficult, and Robin's sometimes turbulent personal choices only added complexity. In 1983, a court order violation related to a marital dispute led to a brief jail sentence for Robin, an episode that momentarily colored public perceptions but remained one of the less discussed aspects of his life. Following this period, Robin met Dwina Murphy, an artist and literature lover who became his second wife. Their relationship was markedly different from his first, with Dwina's open-mindedness shaping a unique family dynamic. Together, they had a son, Robin John, known as RJ, and for many years, the family projected a public image of stability and harmony, though the reality was layered with nuance. Dwina later revealed that their marriage carried many characteristics of an open relationship, a fact that challenged many fans' assumptions about Robin's private life. This honesty about their non-traditional arrangement surprised many, but offered insight into the complexities behind the scenes. Robin, often seen as private and reserved, rarely spoke publicly about his personal affairs and kept rumors at a distance, reinforcing his enigmatic public persona. The most significant sort of revelation came when Robin's connection with Claire Yang, the family housekeeper, became public knowledge. And it was not just like a small whisper either, it was out there. This secret affair stayed tucked away for years, quietly growing behind the estate walls like a strange little weather system. Then the birth of Claire's daughter, Snow Evelyn Robin Juliet Gibb, in November 2008, finally pushed everything into the light, and it rattled the way people had been seeing the Bee Gees frontmen for ages. Dwina's first reaction to this was reportedly shock and also anger. Claire then moved out of the family estate fairly soon after. The whole messy situation kicked off heavy media attention, and suddenly everyone was speculating about trust, silence, and family loyalty. In a way, the episode peeled back layers of Robin's day-to-day life, showing a man who wasn't just living 2 lives, but rather multiple lives at the same time, stacked and overlapping like he kept switching rooms without telling anyone. Even with all that noise, Robin seemed intent on caring for everyone involved. He recognized Snow's place in his family, and he worked to help secure her future too. Somehow, the chaos made him feel more human in an unexpected manner, because the complexity of relationships can be lived quietly, out of public view, and still be real. Robin's private choices, however secret they were, became part of a deeply personal path, one that most people could not fully understand. This chapter in Robin Gibb's life really underlines the idea that even the most celebrated public figures still carry hidden stories. It reminds us the lives behind the music often include surprises that feel as strong as the art itself. The challenges in Robin's personal life were mirrored by the fluctuations in his career, which demanded reinvention and resilience during times apart from the group. Solo career and comebacks. After stepping away from the Bee Gees amid internal disagreements, Robin Gibb sought to establish his identity as a solo artist. His album Robin's Reign marked this new direction, allowing him to explore musical ideas outside the family band's framework. Although fans took notice, his solo work did not reach the commercial heights the Bee Gees enjoyed, reminding Robin and the industry of the delicate balance between individual creativity and collective success. The experience was humbling but productive, providing Robin with an opportunity to grow as an artist on his own terms. Despite the solo venture's moderate impact, it was a vital step in his ongoing musical evolution and helped broaden his creative horizons. Yet, the allure of collaboration and the strength of the Bee Gees brand drew him back into the group fold before long. Reuniting with Barry and Maurice reignited the band's success and unlocked new levels of popularity. Together, they embraced changing musical landscapes, most notably shifting their sound toward disco in the mid-70s. This transformation culminated in the release of the iconic Saturday Night Fever soundtrack in 1977, which turned the Bee Gees into global superstars and disco icons. Songs like Stayin' Alive, Night Fever, and How Deep Is Your Love dominated charts worldwide and became anthems of an era. This monumental album sold over 40 million copies globally, cementing the group's status as one of the best-selling recording artists in history, with sales surpassing 200 million records. Robin's distinct voice and songwriting contributed significantly to this triumph. Despite the dizzying heights of success, the band faced storms of their own, including the backlash against disco in the early 80s. Yet Robin and his brothers proved resilient, achieving a strong comeback with hits like You Win Again, which topped the United Kingdom charts in 1987. This demonstrated their enduring appeal and ability to adapt across decades. Throughout these ups and downs, Robin continued pursuing solo projects alongside his group commitments. Hits such as Saved by the Bell reached impressive chart positions, and he maintained a devoted European fanbase with releases like Juliet and Boys Do Fall in Love. His solo work gave him a unique creative outlet and reinforced his individual artistry. Robin's musical journey reflected a delicate dance between independence and family loyalty. His ability to shine both alone and as part of the Bee Gees speaks to his versatility and deep passion for his craft. Each chapter in his career was linked by a constant striving for personal and artistic fulfillment. As his life's story unfolded, the intersection of his private and professional worlds created a tapestry of contradictions, setting the stage for the final years marked by both triumph and hardship. Health battles and final years. In the early 2000s, Robin Gibb faced a new and daunting challenge, a diagnosis of colorectal cancer that cast a shadow over his life and career. This illness was not just a physical battle, it brought emotional strain as Robin confronted the reality of his own mortality. Fans worldwide expressed concern as news of his condition spread, marking a difficult chapter for the beloved singer. The disease affected more than just his overall health. It led to serious complications that tested his resilience. Over time, Robin's health issues extended beyond cancer. He endured additional problems involving his liver and digestive system, each adding layers of complexity to an already draining fight. The treatments stretched his physical strength and resolve, revealing a man determined to persevere amid adversity. Though often in public view, Robin's struggles remained a private burden he bore with quiet dignity. One of the most serious complications was a surgery for a twisted bowel, a condition that tragically mirrored the fate of his twin brother Maurice, who had died from a similar issue. The painful coincidence drew public attention and underscored the fragility of life for the Gibb family. This shared medical crisis added a somber resonance to Robin's own health journey, connecting the brothers even in loss. Despite the mounting difficulties, Robin remained connected to music and his family, drawing strength from the passions that had defined his life. His determination to continue working around his illness highlighted the enduring spirit that had fueled his career for decades. Even as his body weakened, his voice and creative energy resonated with fans worldwide. Robin's health battles culminated in his passing on May 20th, 2012, in London at the age of 62, a loss that reverberated through the music community and beyond. His death marked the end of a life filled with astonishing achievements and profound hardships. Tributes poured in, celebrating not just the star, but the man behind the scenes who had endured so much. The final curtain fell on a complex, inspiring journey. His enduring legacy, however, was built on more than just his health struggles and tragic losses. Robin's career left an indelible mark on music history, with his distinctive voice and songwriting continuing to resonate long after his death. The challenges of his final years serve as a reminder of the human vulnerability behind fame and fortune. Throughout it all, Robin's strength was a testament to his character, inspiring those who knew him personally and those who admired him from afar. His illness humanized a global icon, reminding the world that even legends face pain and hardship. It framed his life as a story of resilience as much as of success. Though his physical presence faded, Robin's spirit lived on in the songs that defined generations. He remained, in many ways, the lasting voice of the Bee Gees and an enduring symbol of both talent and tenacity. His fight against illness added a poignant chapter to an already richly woven life story. As the shadows of illness and loss settled, the question of what Robin left behind grew more urgent, both for his family and the world watching from a distance. Legacy and family aftermath. Robin Gibb's passing opened a new chapter centered on the legacy he left behind, both in music and in the lives of those closest to him.
Laid to rest outside London today, his brother Barry remarked he'd never seen one with so much love. The 62-year-old died last month after a battle with cancer.
His family chose to keep a private stance in the aftermath, protecting their personal lives amid widespread public interest. Yet, behind the scenes, the distribution of Robin's estate attracted considerable attention, reflecting the complexities of a life lived on multiple fronts. A significant portion of Robin's assets was willed to Claire Yang and their daughter Snow, a decision that surprised the public and made headlines internationally. This acknowledgement of his daughter born outside marriage underscored the reality of his hidden life, securing financial futures for them both. Meanwhile, the majority of his remaining estate went to his second wife, Dwina Murphy, and his other children, maintaining traditional family ties alongside the unexpected. Though reports surfaced occasionally suggesting potential disputes over inheritance, no major legal conflicts emerged publicly. The family's quiet handling of the estate revealed a collective determination to keep matters private and dignified. Robin's legacy became not just about his fortune, but about preserving relationships across a complicated family tapestry. His children, Spencer and Melissa, chose to live largely out of the spotlight, contrasting with their father's celebrity. In contrast, Robin John, known as RJ, remained closely connected to music, pursuing his own artistic path while actively working to honor his father's memory. Snow, too, developed a recognized place within the family, maintaining relationships with her half-siblings despite the unconventional circumstances of her birth. Beyond family dynamics, Robin's impact reaches kinda deep into cultural history, like it does not stop at just the inside the band stuff. As a member of the Bee Gees, he helped define an era and influence countless artists too. Still, his personal story, which is often overshadowed by the sheer noise of the career, adds extra layers to how he gets remembered, both the man and the musician sort of together. His life invites reflection on how fame and privacy can coexist uneasily, even when people think they can't. Robin's passion for history, architecture, and spirituality also shaped what we now call his legacy, and it shows a person who seemed to find joy and meaning beyond the stage. His involvement in genealogy and everyday home life revealed a side rarely seen by the public, at least not in the usual headlines. These interests kinda humanize him, beyond the larger-than-life persona that was built over years in the spotlight, and all those lights. Today, Barry Gibb is still the last surviving brother, and he acts like a steward for the Bee Gees' extensive legacy. His ongoing dedication helps keep Robin's memory alive through performances and public appearances, which is honestly more than symbolic. That continued presence makes sure the Gibb brothers' contributions last, for new generations to find and discover, maybe even when the original era feels distant. Even though Robin Gibb's journey ended with both triumph and tragedy, the careful stewardship of his family and the enduring power of his music guarantee that his story won't just fade away. The complexities of his life underline how legacies are made, through songs, family, and the personal choices hidden behind the scenes, quietly. As the world remembers Robin Gibb, it becomes clear that his legacy is as much about the man behind the music as the global star he became, a legacy shaped by both the light and shadow of an extraordinary life. Passions beyond music. Robin Gibb's life was shaped not only by his extraordinary musical career, but also by a deep curiosity and passion for subjects far removed from the stage. One of his greatest interests was British history. He devoted significant time to researching historical events and his own family lineage, seeking to understand the roots and stories that shaped him. This fascination revealed a thoughtful side of Robin, reflecting a desire to connect with something larger than fame and success. His appearance on the program Who Do You Think You Are showcased this pursuit. Through the show, Robin explored his ancestors and uncovered details about the Gibb family origins that surprised and intrigued him. For a man often characterized by his private nature, this public dive into history offered fans a glimpse of his intellectual curiosity and personal interests beyond music. Architecture was another field where Robin found joy and expression. He owned several properties that were not just homes, but carefully crafted living spaces. These estates were extensively developed with special attention to design, landscaping, and recreational features tailored for comfort and family enjoyment. Gardening became a particular passion, a relaxing and grounding activity that contrasted the high-energy environment of the music industry. Robin's second wife, Dwina Murphy, influenced another aspect of the family's life: spirituality. Her strong interest in Druid beliefs shaped parts of their home environment and personal practices. Although Robin rarely spoke publicly about spiritual matters, he appeared to respect and support Dwina's views, indicating a family life enriched by exploration and openness to different philosophies. This spiritual dimension added complexity to Robin's private world. These interests reflect a man who sought balance and meaning outside of fame. The same drive that pushed Robin to excel musically found outlets in these quieter but deeply fulfilling pursuits. His homes, historical research, and spiritual connections offered a sense of peace amidst a life often marked by public attention and personal tragedy. Moreover, Robin's impact really slipped beyond classic music history, like past the usual charts and all that. He took part in a special project tied to Sesame Street, recording a song called Trash for Sesame Street Fever. The whole thing was meant to bring some delight to his kids, and it sort of showed that playful, tender side that people don't always expect. It's also kinda interesting how bringing music into a children's program demonstrated in plain sight how his influence reached diverse audiences in ways that felt unexpected. Then there is another, less remembered angle too. The Bee Gees also helped with advertising music for Coca-Cola, which points to a wider, more commercial reach than most folks connect to them. That involvement signaled how their work went past the traditional music boundaries and embedded itself into everyday life and global culture, sort of like it belonged there. Robin's role in these ventures basically underlined his versatility and the far-reaching shape of his career. Through all those passions and little projects, Robin built a multifaceted legacy. Not only the stage and the recording studio, but he was like a man engaged in life in general, nature, history, and family too. These quieter facets add texture to how we see him, reminding us his identity was more than music and applause. Robin Gibb's story sits between contrasts: public success and private struggles, and extraordinary talent next to those quieter interests. It paints a picture of someone who lived layered lives, juggling fame with personal quests for knowledge, harmony, and meaning. Robin Gibb's life was a tapestry of remarkable success, hidden struggles, and surprising secrets. Behind the celebrated music was a man shaped by tragedy, love, and curiosity. If you found his story as compelling as we did, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of iconic stars. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching.